Thank you, Nathan, for sitting down with me. You've been Director of Commercialization at FP Genetics for 3 years now, I believe. How did that all transpire? How did you come to get on with FP Genetics?
Yeah, I joined FP Genetics, it'll be about 6 years ago now, in spring, and they had a role in hybrid seed production. Hybrid rye is what I started with and did that for a number of years and still continue to oversee a bit of that. And about 3 years ago, the company had an opening to do a commercialization role, which has been, it's been a lot of fun. It's been a lot of learning in the last few years.
And we're here at Prairie Grain Development Committee meetings in Winnipeg. And what brings FP Genetics here this year? What are you interested in? What are you looking for from the breeders?
Yeah, no, this is always an excellent meeting to be at for what we do as a company that's focused on bringing genetics to farmers here in Canada. This is kind of our premier event. See what plant breeders have coming down the pipeline, interact with the breeders, interact with government officials, other seed industry people. This is a great time to do that in one really consolidated forum.
Is there one particular thing that FP is looking for right now in terms of innovation, traits, anything like that you really, you're setting your sights on, saying, boy, if we could have this, that would be excellent?
I wouldn't say there's one thing. Our company's focused on, all the cereals and pulses for Western Canada. That's kind of our core market. So keeping that pipeline full of varieties. So making sure they're competitive varieties. So whether it's a wheat or a barley, rye, peas, lentils, right? We're looking for a number of things, but just making sure the pipeline's always full, and that's kind of what my role does alongside with R&D. We're always making sure we don't have any gaps, so that farmers are having competitive varieties available to them.
Last time I interviewed you was for an article I did on hybrid rye. Anything new coming down the pipe? Anything in that regard that's particularly exciting for you?
Yeah, hybrid rye has been really good. So last year we launched some new varieties into the Western Canadian markets. Had some really good uptake on those varieties. So we're pretty excited about how we've moved forward with some new varieties here. They're shown to be competitive. It's also given us opportunity to move those across Canada. So we launched in Eastern Canada as well as in the US. And I think that's one of the things our company's kind of pivoted a little bit in the last few years is, our core market is Western Canada for sure, and it will always be, but also looking internationally. And that's kind of what my role in the commercialization has been, is looking internationally. So hybrid rye has given us that opportunity to kind of step outside of Western Canada, develop some relationships in the US. And then also it expands, that's kind of the starting point, it expands the conversation to other crop types, right? So I get a great opportunity to champion all sorts of varieties in other parts of the world, which is a lot of fun. We've got some great breeding organizations here in Canada, which we get a lot of our varieties from. And so we can license them here in Canada, but often those licenses would also fit outside of Canada, right? So whether it's an oat variety or a wheat variety, we have opportunity to license those to other companies outside of Canada. So that's kind of what my role does, is finding some of that reciprocal kind of work.
Before I let you go, what's the biggest challenge that you face as someone working in the seed industry right now, that number one hurdle that you're looking to get over?
Like I said, we're always trying to keep the pipeline full, right? So being competitive, because we look at a lot of data from around the world, I guess our challenge is to keep Canadian farmers competitive, right? And we see other areas where, whether it's a regulatory issue or other issues, marketing issues, there's some really competitive varieties out there that we might not have access to here in Canada. And so trying to advocate to make sure that we can get good varieties coming to Western Canadian farmers. I would say that would be one of the challenges. Beyond some of the political landscape that we have right now, that would probably be one of it.
Nathan, talking about politics, don't worry, I don't want to talk politics. What I do want to talk about is, focusing on our similarities rather than differences. I find that's really helpful right now at a time like this in the world where there's so much going on. And talking about global data, looking at what other countries are doing, how do you really harness those relationships to benefit FP genetics?
Yeah, I think that's a great perspective, Mark. And I think, conversations I have, whether it's with someone in the US or someone in Europe or other areas of the world, we're all facing very similar challenges, right? Whether it's commodity prices, regulatory issues. But at the end of the day, what's fun about this industry and the seed industry and working with plant breeders is they're trying to solve those problems for farmers, right? Trying to drive yield, trying to improve quality while they drive yield. And I think what I've learned over the years is agriculture is agriculture all over the world, right? We have those commonalities. And if we stay focused on what those goals are, instead of getting caught up in politics and like you say, our differences, I think there's a lot of collaborations out there. And that's one of the things I've learned in the 3 years I've done this role. It's surprised me over and over how many times you meet people that are very similar minded in terms of what the end goal is and wanting to collaborate. That's something that resonates with me all the time is if you're open and willing to have that discussion, they really do want to collaborate. So it makes it a lot of fun.
Yeah, that's a great message. Thank you so much, Nathan.
Yeah, thanks, Mark. Appreciate the opportunity to sit down with you.